Turning to business news now with Nona Peltier. Nona, two telecoms companies, Vodafone and Vocus, they're promising a bigger, brighter broadband service when the national high-speed fibre network is deregulated in 18 months. What are they planning?
Well, they're planning to introduce some new technology which will make it not just faster. Say you're a gamer, you want really fast internet, faster than you can get now. So they'll be able to provide some additional hardware and other kinds of technology that will speed it up quite a lot. Also, they can do things like provide more broadband as you need it, as opposed to just a constant pipe of broadband. So there'll be differentiated services which they'll be able to charge a premium price for. At the moment, it's just one size fits all, and the pricing is pretty much a kind of not competitive as such. You're really choosing between one provider and another who can really, there's hardly any margin in it at the moment. So this will change the industry quite a lot. That's what Vocus and Vodafone are hoping. Vocus, in case people don't know, is really an Australian-owned operator that has two brands in New Zealand that provide broadband services. That's Slingshot and Orcon. So it'll be quite different.
Yeah, and so what will this be a bit of a shake-up for the market then?
Yeah, I think so. Sort of what we saw when they deregulated the copper line, so that we had different kinds of services then. We're going to see this again now with the fibre network, so yeah.
And what, do you expect more competition when it comes to pricing?
Well, at this stage, this is the first group that we've heard are going to go into this, so we don't know what the other operators might consider, but they're going to offer these services as wholesale prices so other retailers can offer them on. So we'll see perhaps a variety of services once this new technology is introduced. At the moment, really, we're looking at technology, according to Vodafone and Vocus, that was introduced in 2004. That's the standard that the current fibre network operates at. And since then, the standard has increased two times. So the latest standard is from 2015. So we're talking about a decade of catch-up. So we'll see what happens.
Right, so that's happening in 18 months' time.
Yeah, so from January 2020, when it's deregulated, that's when the services should be operating. In the meantime, those folks are going to have to do some negotiating with the current network operator. Primarily, that's Chorus.
Now, airline passengers, higher fares because of rising fuel prices, and airlines also facing rising labour costs and airport charges. How much more are we going to have to pay for our
Well,
airfares?
it's going to be substantial. I think that the airlines are talking about, well, they haven't actually come out and set a price, but we've already started to see some surcharges being introduced because of fuel charges. But we're going to see some additional charges coming in because of airport charges, and this is something that the airlines, especially in Australia and New Zealand, are working together to. They're targeting Auckland Airport specifically. Auckland Airport has raised their fees, and that's going to cost something like 61 cents per flight. So every passenger, 61 cents per flight into Auckland Airport over the next 5 years. That will result in Auckland Airport earning another $47 million. Now, those are fees that will be directly paid for by passengers. So that alone will tell you that there are some additional charges. The airlines both in Australia and New Zealand think that those charges are exorbitant and unjustified. And even the Commerce Commission has come out in a preliminary draft saying, well, sounds like you're making a bit too much money on your assets. However, they don't have any power at this stage to stop that from happening. So at this stage, all they can say is, we think that's too much, but the airport can still charge what they like.
But 61 cents per passenger doesn't sound like a lot.
It doesn't sound a lot, but it starts to add up if you think about it. And that's just that's only one airport, one charge. We're talking about fuel fees and labor costs. So there's a lot of other things that are in the mix there. And so it does add up, and we can expect to see higher fees. How much, we don't know, because competition will keep those prices down to some extent in any case. Yeah.
What's been happening on the markets today? Big day on the markets.
Yeah, big day on the markets. At one point, we touched the record, so that says something. Now, we were closed yesterday, one of the few markets in the world that was, for our Queen's birthday. Next week, it's Australia's turn, so they were open. We're playing catch-up, I guess, a little bit. We closed up 1.4%. That is a lot. That's 121 points to 8,757. So that's just off our record. And through the day, we actually hit the record, didn't go past it. But that's because we have Changes to the global index that international investors look at. That's the MSCI NZ index. So now what's going to happen is in a couple weeks, A2 Milk is going to move into that index and push Mercury out. And so today, A2 Milk's price rose more than 5%. And another one of the large companies in New Zealand, Fisher & Paykel, rose more than 3%. And so that's what's driven that market higher. So our dollar, on the other hand, we've been steady. We moved up over the weekend to 70.2 US cents and 91.9 Australian, just flirting there with 92 cents, and 52.7 pence.
Excellent, Nona. Thanks very much for your time. That's Nona Peltier, our business reporter.